Something big just hit Indiana. Lexie Hull, one of the Fever's most loyal, hardworking players, is out. And Caitlyn Clark's reaction? Let's just say it said everything. Lexie didn't storm out, didn't make a scene. She dropped a calm, respectful goodbye that hit like a gut punch. "I've loved my years here in Indiana."
Season's very uncertain for the entire league in general, but you're a free agent for the first time. Have you thought about what free agency might look like for you if you'd like to be back?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a restricted free agent, so I think that changes things a little bit, but I've loved my years here in Indiana. So obviously with a lot of uncertainty, you don't know what's to come, but I've built a life here, and I love this franchise. I love the people, I love the fans, so.
She said, voice steady, eyes heavy. But there's a lot of uncertainty. We'll see what comes. That's athlete code for "I'm gone." Fans instantly felt it. The same Lexie Hull who dove for every loose ball, who hustled when the team fell apart, who had Caitlyn's back through the chaos, just walked away. And what's wild? Nobody saw it coming. This wasn't just a roster change. It was a message. Something inside Indiana is cracking. Because when a player like Lexie, known for loyalty, for grinding through losing streaks and media storms, decides to move on, it means the foundation itself is shaking.
Lexie Natasha tweeted and was just saying a bunch about pride and how proud she was of this team. Have you kind of had similar emotions the last couple of days, and how do you balance that with a very painful ending to the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think like following the game, it's so disappointing to lose. And most seasons end on a loss, so it's really hard and challenging, but I think when you sit back and think about our year and everything that we were able to accomplish with the circumstances that we were faced with.
For Caitlyn Clark, this one's personal. Lexie wasn't just a teammate. She was one of the few who understood her. They trained together, shared interviews, even smiled through those painful post-game pressers. Now Caitlyn's standing alone, her support system gone, her locker room energy fading. So what really happened inside the Fever locker room? Why did Lexie walk? And what does that mean for Caitlyn's future in Indiana? Buckle up, because this isn't just about a player leaving. It's about a franchise that might be losing its soul. To understand why Lexie Hull's exit hit so hard, you've got to rewind the tape.
Uncertain for the entire league in general, but you're a free agent for the first time. Have you thought about what free agency might look like for you if you'd like to be back?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a restricted free agent, so I think that changes things a little bit, but I've loved my years here in Indiana. So obviously with a lot of uncertainty, you don't know what's to come, but I've built a life here, and I love this franchise. I love the people, I love the fans, so we'll see what comes. Elliot?
This season wasn't just rough, it was chaotic. Injuries, confusing rotations, and relentless media storms around Caitlyn Clark turned the Fever into a pressure cooker. And through all of it, Lexie was the glue. She didn't put up flashy numbers or trend on social media, but she brought something every locker room needs: consistency. When others complained about minutes, she showed up.
First of all, just how's the back end general?
It's better. I'm excited to sit down and not do anything for a little bit. Yeah.
For you, what was this season like in terms of the different iterations and the different versions of yourself that you had to play, different roles, shooting, defense, diving, all those different things?
Yeah, I mean, the year, I feel like my role changed throughout the course of the year. I think continuing to just show up as my best self, regardless of starting or not, or playing more on the ball defensively or off, whatever the night looked like, I feel like my ability to adapt grew throughout the year, and that's something that I think I can continue to work on my game, is being flexible and being able to really just do whatever the team needs. And this year, I think everyone on our team was challenged.
When the team's energy died, she sparked it. She played defense like her life depended on it, diving for loose balls, switching on picks, and doing every thankless job that doesn't show up on highlight reels. But lately, something shifted. During her exit interview, Lexie sounded tired. Not angry, not dramatic, just tired. She kept repeating words like uncertainty and "we'll see what comes." And in pro sports, that's translation for "I'm not coming back." It wasn't about ego or money. It was about direction. The Fever felt like a team with no map, changing lineups every week, hoping something would stick.
It's something that we won't forget, the injuries, the playing through playing with groups that we haven't even practiced with for the first time in games. We were faced with so much uncertainty. So I think there isn't one pinpoint game where I'll remember that game. It's almost just.
And when you've been in that storm long enough, eventually you stop waiting for it to pass. You leave. Even the way she said she loved the fans and the franchise felt like a goodbye dressed as gratitude. Lexie Hull had built a life in Indiana, but lately, it looked like that life didn't fit anymore. And the worst part? Caitlyn Clark knew it was coming, but couldn't stop it. Here's where things start to make sense and sting a little more. Lexie Hull wasn't just walking away from a team, she was walking away from instability. Throughout the season, her role kept shifting like sand under her feet. One night she was guarding elite wings. The next, she was coming off the bench. Some nights, she barely touched the floor. Her job description changed faster than the Fever's win-loss record. In her own words, she talked about adapting, about showing up no matter what the role was. That's not a quote from someone thriving, that's survival talk. She was doing what professionals do when the system stops making sense, adjusting just to stay afloat. And behind that calm tone, you could hear the exhaustion. She praised her teammates, smiled for the cameras, but the message between the lines was clear. Enough is enough. Even Caitlyn Clark's presence couldn't fix that. The hype, the ticket sales, the spotlight, none of it solved the underlying problem. The Fever have no rhythm, no reliable structure. And when you've got a player like Lexie, disciplined, selfless, team first, being tossed into chaos, you're not just losing games, you're burning out your culture. Then comes the kicker. Lexie's restricted free agent status. Indiana could have matched any offer and kept her if they wanted to. But the tone of her interview? It didn't sound like someone waiting on paperwork. And Lexie? She was the one paying the price. She said it herself. Her role changed throughout the year, and she learned to be flexible. That's the polite version. The truth? It's impossible to find rhythm when your job description shifts every week. No shooter can stay consistent like that. No defender can stay confident. And that's the contradiction at the heart of Indiana's story. They say they want stability, but they treat their most reliable players like experiments. Lexie never complained publicly, but you could see it in her interviews, a mix of exhaustion, professionalism, and quiet frustration. Then there's the irony. While she was doing the dirty work, defending, hustling, adapting, the headlines were all about Caitlyn Clark. Every shot, every stare, every tweet about Clark dominated the narrative. Lexie's sacrifices barely got a mention, and it's not Caitlyn's fault. She didn't ask for the circus, but that imbalance wears on a locker room. So when Lexie started talking about uncertainty in the league, that wasn't random. She wasn't just referring to free agency, she was calling out the system, the lack of direction, the instability, the feeling that no matter how much you give, it's never enough. And when even your most loyal player starts hinting that she's done believing, that's when you know the cracks aren't small anymore. They're structural. Let's pull back the curtain. Because Lexie Hull's exit isn't just emotional, it's strategic. See, she didn't just leave Indiana. She joined Unrivaled, the off-season league created by Napheesa Collier and Brianna Stewart. That move speaks volumes. It's not just about staying active or getting reps. It's about control over playing time, pay, and respect. Players across the WNBA are tired of feeling disposable. The CBA talks are hanging by a thread. A potential lockout is lurking in 2026, and management chaos is everywhere. So Lexie did what smart pros do. She protected her future. She chose a system that values independence, one that lets her grow without begging for minutes or structure. Her decision also tells you something deeper. She's no longer waiting for the Fever to figure it out. When she said she wanted to work on her offense and keep adapting, that wasn't just about development. It was her way of saying, and for Caitlyn Clark, that's the hardest part. Her closest teammate didn't leave in anger. She left because she was tired of caring more than the system did. Lexie's departure is a mirror for everyone still in that locker room, especially Caitlyn, showing exactly what happens when loyalty meets frustration. Lexie Hull's departure isn't just a Fever problem, it's a WNBA problem. Because what she did quietly represents how a lot of players are feeling right now. This league is heading into a storm, a mix of uncertainty, labor tension, and player fatigue. The upcoming CBA battle has everyone on edge. Travel issues, pay gaps, inconsistent leadership, Players are exhausted from waiting for real change. And when someone like Lexie, who's built her career on grit and gratitude, decides to leave the traditional system behind, that's not a coincidence. That's a statement. Her move to Unrivaled is part of a growing shift. Players are no longer content with being told to be patient. They want leverage. They want ownership. They want to stop being side characters in their own careers. And you can feel that ripple effect across the league. You've got veterans questioning whether the grind is worth it. You've got rookies watching closely, realizing loyalty doesn't always get rewarded. And fans, especially Fever fans, are learning that chemistry can't survive chaos forever. For Caitlyn Clark, that means stepping into uncharted territory. She's now the face of a franchise that's unraveling in real time. Her leadership, her patience, and even her belief in the organization are going to be tested. Because when players like Lexie leave, they don't just take stats with them, they take culture. They take the quiet leadership that keeps the locker room balanced. And if Indiana doesn't fix its identity soon, it risks becoming the cautionary tale of the new WNBA era. A team that had the star power, but lost its heart. So here we are, the dust settling, the headlines fading, and one truth remains. Lexie Hull leaving isn't just another off-season move. It's a message written between the lines. She didn't leave because she couldn't handle the spotlight. She left because she was done living in someone else's shadow. Lexie was the kind of player every team says they want. Humble, reliable, tough as nails. And if she's walking away, it says more about the Fever than it does about her. For Caitlyn, and honestly, this could go either way. If she steps up, rebuilds trust, unites that locker room, and demands accountability, she becomes the leader Indiana desperately needs. If she doesn't, the Fever risk turning into the same cycle of talent wasted and potential forgotten. Lexie Hull's quiet goodbye might end up being the loudest warning shot this franchise ever gets. Because loyalty doesn't mean much if the system keeps breaking people who give everything to it. So, Fever fans, what do you think? Did Lexie make the right move walking away? And can Caitlyn Clark hold this franchise together before it completely falls apart? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. And if you love honest takes that cut through the noise, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives just like this, because this story, it's far from over.